Hawkinson in trouble in the backfield. Down he goes. Big 69.
Hello, everybody. Welcome. Second installment, Icing the Kicker podcast. Let's get it. I'm Patrick. I got Jayden joining with me. So this is the second episode. First episode went well, man. We just want to say thank you for everyone, giving us suggestions and supporting us. Everyone that watched, man. We're reading every comment, taking everything as it comes. So thanks to everybody that had any opinions on it. And what do you got to say?
Keep them coming.
Yeah, loving it.
We're new to this, so we need all the suggestions that we can get. So,
of course. So, Jayden, how you doing today, man?
I'm fantastic. Yourself?
Pretty good, man. Excited to be here with you.
Me too.
Just as we said, just getting this new equipment figured out and ready to go. But let's get right into this.
Yeah.
Jayden, you want to start it off?
Yeah, let's talk about that game last night. That Thursday night football game. Holy.
Yeah.
Man, the Raiders blowing out the Chargers.
Yeah.
63-21.
I don't know what the spread was going into it, but, Aiden O'Connell, 20 for 34, 4 TDs, and 250 yards. It looks like it was a good decision to bench Jimmy Garoppolo. Brandon Staley, that's gone. You can't lose like that in the NFL, but maybe you can. Look at the Broncos, they were able to turn around.
Yeah, but it was also the Dolphins. Best offense in the league. And
Raiders are definitely not a top team in the NFL. Even though they looked like it last night, impressive performance. Devontae Adams, 101 yards and a touchdown. But Trey Tucker, too, player that flies under the radar, 2 touchdowns and only 3 catches. Randy Moss stat line. But ultimately impressive. No one was expecting that.
No, not at all.
What do you got to add?
How about that Jack Jones pick six?
Yeah, that was probably the best pick six I've maybe ever seen off the top of my head.
Running one way and coming back and
busting through the line of scrimmage, that was incredible.
Yeah,
but this game was out of hand early.
42-0 at half.
Yeah.
That was disgusting.
I haven't seen a stat line since that in a long time. That was a scoregami. First time that score's ever happened in the NFL.
Really?
63-21.
Bias.
But another thing that's crazy, took a lot of people by surprise. Raiders scored 0 points last week.
I know.
Against that's insane.
The Vikings still.
Yeah.
I don't
So that just talks about the NFL. Anything can happen. Going from 0 to 63. A couple of defensive touchdowns too, but that offense was able to, get kick-started. Antonio Pierce, man. Who he does remind me of is Dan Campbell.
I love him.
He can get the people behind him. I think he's from the Oakland area.
Oh, really?
Grew up as a Raiders fan. One thing I like about him is, you don't see people with the same journey as him anymore.
Mm-hmm.
He was a linebacker for the Giants for many years in the NFL, but he was never a head coach in college or never a head coach in NFL before this. And I think they might stick with him as the interim. People love him over there. And, started off his coaching career at Long Beach Poly High School in California, a nationally ranked high school, and then got the linebacker's job at Arizona State and moved up to the NFL. But, jumped right into this head coaching spot and never looked back and doing pretty successful.
I love him. I think he's a great head coach.
And the players get behind him, too.
And especially the Raiders, too. The Raiders,
yeah, that's a tough franchise, a gritty franchise, and, the people of Vegas, not as much at Oakland, but not as much Vegas as Oakland, but people in Oakland, they live by that team.
Oh, yeah,
and
sure.
I'm happy to see them having a little success. Anything else you want to add on that game?
No, I think that's it. Love the Raiders.
Let's get into our picks. Sunday picks. We got a player prop for each game this Sunday, and covering the spread. I got Bengals -3 over the Minnesota Vikings.
I agree.
TJ Hawkinson over 5.5 receptions, -15 on FanDuel.
I had Hawkinson over 53.5 yards, -113.
Expect a big game from TJ Hawkinson.
Yep.
That's where all the arrows are leading. Bengals not very good in tight end defense.
With new quarterbacks coming in, they always look for their
tight ends.
Yeah. So.
Big, reliable targets. This is one we did disagree on. I got Steelers covering 1.5 over Indianapolis, and player prop wasn't many great ones. I just picked Trubisky over 0.5 passing touchdowns, minus 210, not very good. But tell me why you picked the Colts in this one.
So I picked the Colts minus 1.5 over Pittsburgh. It's in Indianapolis, and I don't know, that Pittsburgh offense with Trubisky, I don't know, I don't trust it, and that defense for the Colts it's pretty legit. And
yeah, you're right.
I love the Colts. I think the Colts are a great team, even with Jonathan Taylor out and Zach Moss starting at running back. I just still think that I love that team. So definitely not a bad pick. Could go either way. This just feels like a win, Mike Tomlin win. Yeah. One of those games where it's like the Steelers just win these close games, but as we talked about on the first installment, they're probably not going to go anywhere. But just these are the games that get them to 500 every year, and I got them winning this one and covering. One we both agree on here. I know you're a big Lions guy. Lions minus 4.5 over the Broncos. Yep.
Not much to be said. Is the game in? Is it in Denver or is it in?
It's in Detroit.
In Detroit. Jared Goff got to play better.
Yeah.
And the Broncos are kind of on a hot streak right now.
Yep.
Kind of finding their own on offense, but still, nonetheless, I don't think that the Broncos defensive line or Broncos front seven are going to be able to stop, Taylor Decker, Penei Sewell, that whole offensive line group, as well as that two-headed monster in the backfield. Right. I got Lions minus 4.5, even though I do have Cortland Sutton anytime touchdown plus 125. Interesting stat. Every away game this year, Cortland Sutton does have a touchdown, so stay with the theme, and that's what I got.
Everything comes to an end, so
yeah.
I guess I have Russell Wilson over 217.5 passing yards, minus 114. And going back, the Colts, my player prop, I'm going out on a limb and saying the Colts are going to have a defensive touchdown, plus 750. Yep. That's my...
And everyone knows Trubisky definitely doesn't protect that ball. I definitely could see a pick six, and plus 750 is definitely not bad value for that.
Yeah, for sure.
Let's go to Browns. I got Browns minus 3.5 over Chicago. I know Chicago's coming off a huge win against the Lions, and they're kind of finding their own more than earlier in the season. But at the same time, the Browns, man, I love the way the Browns been playing. Joe Flacco kind of coming back. They've had a quarterback carousel recently, but I do think they win this game. And I'd take the Browns even up to 6.5. I think they win by a touchdown, maybe 7 points.
Yeah, I agree, but I think it's going to be a very low-scoring game. I think it's going to be a defensive battle because, Joe Flacco had a great game, but, great games happen every once in a while. You can't rely on him, and I just think it's going to be very low-scoring, but I think that Justin Fields is going to have over 56.5 rushing yards. And I parlayed that with Komet over 3.5 receptions because he's going to look over the middle for his big boy.
One more player prop I added for that one. DJ Moore anytime touchdown. He's really been the only big target that the Bears have been able to rely on every game this year. He's averaging 10.6 targets per game. That is a lot.
Yeah, that's crazy.
And I think one of those 11 targets is going to end up in the end zone. Plus 120 or plus 195. Not a bad shout. Next one, Packers. I got them going minus 2.5 over the Buccaneers. That is one we did agree on.
Yep, we agreed on that one.
Tampa Bay, just a meh team. And the Packers, some games they look great, some games they look awful. And one player prop I do have is Baker Mayfield interception plus 225. Baker Mayfield's gone into Lambeau Field 3 times, 3 times the last 3 years, and he's thrown 5 interceptions in 3 games. That seems to be his kryptonite. I definitely got him throwing a pick here. Going on the next, Titans minus 2.5 over the Houston Texans. We both agree, but I think we both also do agree if the Texans have C.J. Stroud, this is a different outcome. And Tank Dell. No Tank Dell, no C.J. Stroud. Where's the offense coming from?
And I don't think Nico Collins is playing either.
Yeah. We're going to leave out a player prop for this one. Titans.
I got one.
What do you got?
I got a pretty good one. Tajay Spears over receiving yards, 15.5. I thought that, that's a steal. 15.5. I mean, he gets receptions like crazy, especially with Will Levis back there, just checking it down to the running back when Tajay's in. And I think that'll be an easy first half hitter.
Not a bad pick at all. That's your lock of the day.
Yeah, for sure.
I have the Jets covering plus 9.5 over the Dolphins. I also didn't add a player prop. I don't know. Did you, Jayden?
Yes. I had Zach Wilson under 15.5 rushing yards.
Yeah.
And I don't know. That's
really that's one I could see going either way. But if you like it, you like it. I do think the Jets cover 9.5.
I do too.
I don't think this is a 10-point game. I think Zach Wilson's able to keep them in there till the fourth quarter. I think Tyreek Hill is playing, but he will be limited, right? Yeah. Just coming off an ankle injury.
And it's the Jets, so they don't want to...
Yeah. And, it's NFL. These games will be played close. Yeah. Giants. This is a spread that did surprise me. Giants were -6, so I have them covering the 6 points over the New Orleans Saints. But I do have Taysom Hill anytime touchdown plus 230. If you watch a couple Saints games this year, that's their guy in the red zone.
Yeah.
And
all over the field.
Yeah. And it reminds me of Taysom Hill from a couple years ago. They kind of forgot about him for a couple years, and now they're finding spots for him. But yeah, he's been able to find the end zone a lot this year, and I think he will on Sunday. All right, next one. Chiefs -8.5 over New England. Not much to be said. New England's probably one of the worst teams in the league, and even though the Chiefs have had some struggles, I still see them winning by 2 scores to 3 scores. Yeah. Patrick Mahomes is going to be able to take care of it. I don't have a player prop for this game. Do you?
No, I don't have a player prop either. That game's just going to be...
Yeah. Falcons -3 over the Panthers. 2 bad teams in a bad division.
Yep.
But, I can't see the Panthers winning. Panthers suck,
And it's in Atlanta.
Yeah. Desmond Ritter's not that much better, but I do have the Falcons covering -3. My player prop is Drake London over 51.5 yards, -114. The reason for that is Drake London, 176 yards last week. Really had a baller performance, and I don't see him taking a major drop.
It is in Carolina.
Yeah. Rams, -6.5 over Washington. This is one we did disagree on. Tell me a little bit about why.
So I'm pretty sure it's in Washington, and I don't know, that Rams defense, it's great at times, and sometimes it's pretty scary.
And you look at a team like, I'll start to cut you off, but you look at a team like the Commanders, early in the year, they were able to push, Philly to the edge, lost by 1 point, I think, or lost in overtime. But that defense is just not as strong without Chase Young and Montez Sweat.
That's true.
But they still got Deron Payne. They got good players inside. And, they'll be able to keep it close, I do think. But I do think that the Rams end up winning by 7 or 10.
The only thing I'm scared about is that passing game. Their corners are so bad that they just have to...
And, you got Cooper Kupp and Puka Nacua, and that is one of my player props. Cooper Kupp over 5.5 receptions, -152. You don't get great odds for it, but... You look at the stats, Cooper Kupp is pretty consistent, with receptions more than any receiver in the league. He'll get his targets because he's always open.
Yeah.
That's all we got to put on that game. This is another one we did disagree on. I got 49ers covering -12.5 over the Cardinals. My player prop is George Kittle over 45.5 yards.
I had the Cardinals obviously covering. I think the 49ers are going to win, but I think the Cardinals are going to cover. And, they got Kyler Murray. He can make plays. I know their D-line's really good, but I just think that Kyler will make some plays that I don't think they'll lose by 13.
Yeah.
A lot of points.
Definitely see it going either way.
It's a lot of points.
I got Cowboys +1.5. Slight underdogs over the Bills. I know the game is in Buffalo.
It is.
I still got the Cowboys winning, and Tony Pollard anytime touchdown for +105. Anytime you get plus money for a running back touchdown, especially someone with the production of Tony Pollard, I usually take it.
And Rico Dowell's a little banged up too.
I definitely got the Cowboys, getting a W here. They're hot, and the Bills have looked wishy-washy. Either way, haven't looked, unstoppable.
I'm gonna disagree with you on that one. It's in Buffalo.
Tough. One of the toughest places to play in the league.
Yeah, it's gonna be cold. I want to see how Dak Prescott performs in the cold, and I don't know. I think Buffalo's on a hot streak right now. So is Dallas, but it'll be a very good game. I'm very excited for that one.
Yeah. All right. Last one. Sunday Night Football primetime game. I got the Ravens -3.5 over Jacksonville. Ravens top 2 or 3 team in the league right now. Not much to be said. I don't see the Jaguars as that top echelon team, and Trevor Lawrence just sprained his ankle. I know he's playing, and that's why I have him on the under 15.5 rushing yards, -14 or -114. They're just not going to run him.
No, why would you?
Yeah, franchise player coming off a hurt ankle. It's just not that production. I do see that not hitting. But yeah, Ravens -3.5. I would take it all the way up to 6.5.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
And you could get some garbage time touchdowns here, but I don't think this is as close to the game as a lot of people think. All right, next segment. Jayden, quick shout-out segment.
Okay.
You want to go first?
Yeah, I'll go first. Give me a shout-out for a coach.
Kevin Stefanski. Really been able to, take those Browns with depleted quarterback and been able to put them in situations to win games.
Okay, give me a team.
Washington Huskies. A lot of people think that they're pretenders. I do see a close game with Texas. Texas is more complete all around, but they do have a chance to prove themselves.
Give me a player.
Jalen Milroe. Jalen Milroe will have a big day, I think, against Michigan, and that's where they've had struggles, is when he hasn't been able to use his feet. When they've had triumphs, he has been able to use his feet and escape and make plays longer on big 3rd and longs.
Yeah. Give me a viewer of the pod.
Shout out Von Putz. Von Putz, appreciate the feedback, man. Love to have you on soon.
Yep.
And appreciate all the support.
And give me a random celebrity.
Oh, this is a tough one. I'm gonna go with Leon Edwards. I know he got the American flag up there. I do think he beats Colby Covington tomorrow at UFC.
All right.
Jayden, I'm going to go with you. Right. Jayden, give me a shout-out for one coach.
I'm going to say Jim Harbaugh. He's got a lot to prove.
A lot to prove.
He has to win this game. Playoffs.
Yep.
He hasn't lost 2 years in a row. I think he's got a lot to prove.
I'll add to that, too, though. That seems like the story with Jim Harbaugh. It's always been, you got to prove this, you got to prove that. Got to prove you can beat Ohio State. Finally did it. 3 years in a row, won the Big Ten, and now it's win a playoff game, So he's definitely trending upwards.
Yeah.
But, he's got a lot to prove if Michigan's a real contender and they can beat the SEC boys. Jayden, give me one team.
I'm going to go back to my Indianapolis Colts. I think that they're going to make the playoffs. I think that they do have contention of beating beating out the Texans as the AFC, or no, they can't because the Jags are.
Yeah.
I think they'll make the wild card, and I think they'll play a very good game with whoever they play.
Yeah, they're definitely one of those teams that can make make a team run for their money in the playoffs. Yep. I think of the Dolphins last year. I forgot who the quarterback. Yeah, I think of the Dolphins last year. I forgot who they played, or I forgot who their quarterback was. Skylar Thompson, I think, and they end up losing by the Bills in the wild card by 3 points. And that was game spread opened up last year, I think, at 13.5, and they really keep it close. I do see the Texans the Colts as one of those teams. Jayden, give me a shout, one player.
A player, I'm gonna say. I think Trevor Lawrence. I think he's going to bounce back after that ankle injury, and I think he's going to play really good. I do think that they're going to lose, but I think that he is going to keep a very good game against a very, very, very good defense, and I think he's going to look real good. Yeah,
I don't disagree with that. Jayden, give me a shout, one viewer.
I'm going to say Ty Thomas,
Good kid.
Going into class and him coming up to me and saying how great the pod was and giving me some suggestions, it was greatly appreciated.
Love to have you on here one day, Ty.
For sure.
One celebrity.
Celebrity. I'm gonna say. I'll say Donald Trump. You know.
Yeah.
Just shout out Donald Trump.
Yeah. What's he up to nowadays?
I mean,
probably playing golf.
Probably. I mean,
yeah, doing whatever he
wants.
He's
always golfing.
Yeah.
Can't hate him.
Yeah. You can't hate him. A lot of people do hate him. You know, going into the next one, Chargers potential coaches. You know, I'm gonna say someone. You give me a couple of thoughts you have just off the top of your head. Kellen Moore, offense coordinator for the Chargers.
No.
Yeah.
No way.
That's one I do agree with.
I hope not. I mean, for them, I hope not, because, I mean, he's a okay coach. You know, I don't like him.
He didn't produce that much on the Cowboys either when he was the offense coordinator over there. This is one that is definitely possible, but I wouldn't like it that much if I were the Chargers fan. Number 2, Jim Harbaugh.
No, I think he's staying. I mean, for the Chargers, that'd be
great.
But I don't think it's happening. I think he's gonna stay.
I know the Wolverines were in talks for the new 5-year contract extension. Hasn't been agreed on yet. We'll probably wait to see what happens after this game.
For sure.
But yeah, he's an established coach in the NFL, and you know a lot of teams in the NFL would be lucky to have him. But yeah, I do agree. I do think he will stay just because he's getting all that love in Michigan right now. But you know, that's one thing I would be uneasy in the back of my mind as a Michigan fan is Jim Harbaugh. You know, he's thinking about it.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
And he's thought about it the last couple of years, you know, taking interviews. Mm-hmm. But, yeah, would be great for the Chargers. Not so great for Michigan. But I don't think it's going to happen.
I don't either.
Another one of your teams, Ben Johnson from the Lions.
You know, so I was going back and forth about this. So I think Ben Johnson, fantastic offensive coordinator. As a head coach, though, I don't know. I think he should be like Eric Bieniemy, you know?
Yeah.
He was the Chiefs' offensive coordinator. Everybody was like, oh, wguaranteed head coaching job. Went to Commanders.
Took a lateral move.
Yeah.
Didn't go up. Went from the Chiefs to the Commanders, which surprised a lot of people. I do think Ben Johnson will get a head coaching job, whether it's on the Chargers or not.
You know, I just like watching Hard Knocks, and like he wasn't even on it.
Yeah.
So you look at all the coaches, the head coaches now, like Dan Campbell and Antonio Pierce, like they have so much fire, and that's what people love about him. And like
he's just
Sean McVay, he's got passion.
Just a regular guy.
Yeah, he's just a regular guy that like doesn't show passion. I don't know. I think that if you're looking for a head coach, you're looking for the passion and the team morale, team rebuild. Like Dan Campbell can turn a bad team like around in an instant. Everybody loves him, you know.
But what I will say to counter that is he reminds me of the Mike McDaniels, the Kyle Stranahans, those type of guys of the world. You know, kind of geeky, real analytic guys. Yeah. But you know, that's a new thing nowadays, and you need that type of offense. You think about the Dolphins, that offense is so dynamic.
That's true.
And you know, the Lions, they do what they're good at, and they do it really well. And I think maybe he would be a good head coach. Whether it's on the Chargers, but it definitely will be somewhere. Someone you just touched on, Eric Bieniemy from the Commanders.
You know, I think that if it were going to be anywhere, I think it'd be the Chargers because they got a quarterback and they don't have to rebuild as much. But, I mean, the reasons he didn't take a head coaching job, I think, was because the teams that were accepting of a head coach weren't established. They aren't like, they only need a couple pieces. I think that this would be a good fit.
That's what the Chargers are. They need a couple pieces. Yeah. They got the franchise guy
they got
under center.
Pieces around them. They just need to finish the job. You know.
I do agree with you. You know, kind of build a new defense, and I do think Eric Bieniemy would be a good fit. But a lot of players, I think some reports come out they didn't like Eric Bieniemy playing under him.
Really?
Yeah, and that might not go over so well. And I think that might be holding them back from a couple of jobs. But next, you know. The thing this team needs more than anything is defense. Yeah. And another candidate is Brian Flores, a defense coordinator from the Vikings.
I like it.
I like it too. He had his chance as a head coach. You know, some successful seasons, some not. But yeah, he's a good coach, and you know he's established, and he knows how to coach a team. I think the Chargers might be a good fit for them.
I think
if I was the Chargers, I probably could go with an offensive guy. But
I don't know. I think out of this list, I think Brian Flores is the best guy so far. I mean, him in Miami, he shouldn't have gotten fired. I don't think. But I mean,
all the better for Miami now. Look at Mike McDaniel.
Now, but they lost a first round pick.
Yeah.
Because of it. Which
yeah.
Controversial.
So, best pick is definitely Jim. Hypotheticals, quick ones. Jayden, what NFL player would be the best UFC fighter?
Myles Garrett, for sure.
You think? Yeah.
Freaking gorilla.
Okay. That's getting cut.
Okay, no. I mean,
no, he is a freak, man. He's a beast. You got one?
Yeah. Create the best NFL running back.
Out of current players, I'm gonna go with Mostert speed.
Okay.
Le'Veon Bell still in the league.
Sure.
Le'Veon Bell patience,
Yeah.
I'm a Kamara pass threat.
Okay.
What else am I missing?
Vision, jukes, trucks. That's probably it.
Yeah, trucking Derrick Henry.
Yep.
Carrying Derrick Henry. He doesn't fumble at all that often. In vision, I'd probably go with CMC.
Okay.
Jayden, if you had 11 of one player to play every position for a game, who would you pick?
I mean, I'll probably take the boring answer. I'm probably going to say Taysom Hill. I mean, he can play everything.
Yeah.
Quarterback, running back.
I'd go with Micah Parsons.
Okay.
He's an athlete, dude.
Yeah,
I honestly think he could play tight end or running back in the NFL.
The thing is, you always see those players that, some of them, they're in the NFL and they don't know how to throw
football. Yeah. It's dude, did you throw up playing catch with your dad?
Yeah.
Jayden, what NBA player would be the best NFL player currently?
I'm gonna say I don't know, that's kind of a tough one. Maybe I'm trying to think someone who throws some dimes, someone who is pretty tall. I'm gonna say Kyrie. I'm gonna say
really?
Kyrie. Yeah. I mean
at quarterback?
I mean, I can see him throwing some dimes, juking some people out.
I definitely don't hate that pick. All right.
What do you say? I'm curious.
LeBron. Best all-around athlete, is a freak. He probably could have played in the NFL if he wanted.
I was going to say that, but he's also...
Yeah, he's also 37, 38.
Yeah, so, I mean...
all right.
Larry Fitz.
All right, quick ones to wrap it up. Jayden, who's the best college football quarterback of all time?
I'm going to say Joe Burr.
Yep, agree with you. Best kick returner of all time?
Devin Hester.
Hands down. Biggest bust in NFL history?
Jamarcus Russell.
Yeah, it's either there, and I know Manziel was picked at 22, but still Manziel with all the hype.
Ryan Leaf.
Yep, picked right behind Peyton Manning. Start bench cut, Roethlisberger, Eli Manning, and Phillip Rivers, 2004 draft class.
I think two of them make it into the Hall of Fame. I think you got to start Big Ben.
Mm-hmm.
You bench Eli.
Yeah,
cut Rivers.
Agree with you. All right.
All right. Who's the best college football player, defensive player of all time?
2 ways to go with this: either Charles Woodson, only Heisman, or Ndamukong Suh.
Ooh,
for Nebraska.
Love that. Nebraska. What pick for the draft pick for the 49ers were you the most upset with?
Yeah, and this is one I really was not right about. Was Brandon Ayuk?
Really?
Or no, same draft. I didn't want Brandon Ayuk. I wanted CeeDee Lamb.
Oh, okay.
But I didn't like when we traded DeForest Buckner for the 13th pick just to draft Javon Kinlaw.
That was awful.
Yeah, I knew that would never work out. Yeah.
What team did you think was going to do really well this year but didn't in college football and the NFL?
Tough one. A team I thought was going to do well in college football but didn't is probably Notre Dame.
Okay.
I did expect Notre Dame to be top 10 or, 1 loss, 2 loss, fighting for a playoff spot, but they kind of fell off later in the season. NFL, I did expect the Chargers to be good, and they literally just lost by 42 last night.
Yeah, that was pretty good.
So, yeah.
All right, another start bench cut. Jalen Waddle, Devontae Smith, and T. Higgins.
Ooh, that's a tough one. I think about this in tiers. I think Devontae Smith and Waddle are levels above T. Higgins, even though T. Higgins is a great player. I go Smith, Waddle, Higgins.
Really?
Boom. Yeah.
I would probably go Smith, Higgins, Waddle.
Really?
I would. I think
Waddle's a good player, man.
I do too. I think he's a very good player. I just think that T. Higgins, if he was the number one receiver, he'd be...
Well, I think if Jalen Waddle was the number one receiver, he'd be balling too.
That's true.
Discussions for another day. Any wrapping thoughts?
I just appreciate everybody watching and listening to our pod. And,
of course.
We're going to be coming out with some more episodes coming up in the next couple weeks, and I'm excited, and I hope you guys are excited too.
Yeah. Hope you guys stick with us. We're just learning as we go. Everything's getting better. Just stick with it. Hopefully you enjoyed. Leave comments, subscribe. We're taking every suggestion we can get.
Yep.
So with that, we'll see you for episode 3.
See ya.
Peace.